Well, welcome to this month's Q&A session brought to you by the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha. We're going to be talking about college prep, and fortunately, with the pandemic hopefully coming to an end very shortly, our students, especially new students, will actually have something that resembles an actual college experience. But I understand that there's a lot of prep to that, and there are ways financially to really get yourself set up for being in college so you can focus on getting an education and building a career and not necessarily how to manage your checking account. So we've got experts here, Tiffany Michael and the CEO, Mary Johnson from Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, to talk a little bit about what they do specifically as a financial institution to help students going into college. And so I guess the first question that I really need to ask is what does college prep for Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha members really look like? Where is the best place to start?
Well, I think really it can begin at birth for these students to be at that point. Their parents have the opportunity to open Coverdale education savings accounts for them. These accounts work very much like a 529 plan.
Mm-hmm.
However, they also offer certain K through 12 purchases that can be qualified expenses as well. You can find additional information on them on our website. But the biggest options I'd like to talk about are the Robert Squeeder Memorial Scholarship. That's the name of one of our dear board members that passed away some time ago. He was an OPD officer, homicide detective, and really truly believed in the philosophy of our credit union. So we award up to $3,000 worth of scholarships to student members who plan to continue their education. There is some criteria, there is an essay involved, and all that information again can be found on our website, dates and that. The second one is one run from the Nebraska Credit Union League Foundation, our trade association, and they give away a $500 scholarship. Again, there is an essay involved, and that information too as well can be found on our website.
Are there people available at Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha to write the essay if the student does not want to?
No.
Tiffany, are you there writing essays?
I am. I'd be happy to help them out if they need some subject matter.
Absolutely. And we do, I know for, I think in both instances, a topic is picked each year, and they can certainly call and ask us questions, if they're not real sure what direction to go.
So it sounds like pretty much when a child comes out of the womb, you could already be starting to plan for their college. If people are a little bit behind, for instance, what are some of the products or some of the ways that you help people or families to kind of catch up for that planning?
Well, of course, we have the Kirby Club, Kirby Kangaroo Club savings to get them started. And we have a youth week each week just to get the kids, involved in the credit union and make the parents aware. And this group is very active.
You've been helping college students for a long time. What would you say is the most used service by your members once they go into college, especially if they go away to college? I would hope that while I'm sure a number of folks are going to University of Nebraska or University of Iowa out there, there might be a few kids that are lucky enough to go to University of Miami or University of Hawaii out there.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be nice? Probably our shared branching. That is a tool which there are credit unions across the United States that belong to this network. So that allows our member to go into a credit union in this network and do transactions as if they were standing right here at the credit union. We do understand that the students going out of state are trying to establish residency. So with that comes opening an account in whatever state or city, that they're going to to college at. Our recommendation there is to find a credit union in the network on shared branching so that they can open an account there and still have their credit union account here. That way they don't have to lose that account with us. The other thing that student needs to remember, much as they want to be independent, many times they have, parents or family members that are contributing to their education and their expenses. Well, that parent can certainly transfer immediately into a student's account at any time when their account is here, and that student has access to that money immediately. So that's just something that I think they need to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's an interesting tip because everything is so technology based. You wouldn't think of the value of having a shared branch. To use my kind of off the cuff example, you're going to University of Miami. That's a good 1,500, 2,000 miles away from Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha headquarters. To not only find that shared branch, but to also open up an account there to make your life a little bit easier, but still keep your membership with Police Federal.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like shared branching is the most used service by college students. What's maybe the number one service that you guys offer that they should be using, that maybe should be the number one service out there?
Probably student loans. We do partner with Sallie Mae, and we have two options. There's what they call the Smart Option Student Loan for the undergraduate. This is for their bachelor's, associates, or certificate, a degree granting school. There's also a parent loan that is available, and it works basically the same way. All the information, again, can be found on our website. It's all internet-based, so they don't have to come into the credit union to do it. It's fairly simple. The other avenue, though, I know you said one, we actually have a second one that we want.
That's okay. We have time. Do 2, 3, as many as you want.
All right. Would be our Visa Platinum Reward credit card. And actually, I'll let Tiffany address that.
Sure, I would love to address our Visa Platinum Reward credit card. We recommend that our college students take our card with them. It's a great way for them to build credit, earn rewards on purchases. It comes with a lot of different options like the accident travel insurance, the travel advantage, trip cancellation insurance. So if they're flying back and forth from college, we recommend that they actually use that card to purchase the tickets. We have rates that start as low as 8.99% with no annual fee. They have purchase alerts. Members can do easy online access. You actually can have access to your PFCU Platinum Visa card through Cuffs, our online banking. We can set you up for electronic statements, electronic payments. Basically anything that you can do with your debit card, also you can do with your credit card with Police Federal Credit Union. It's something we definitely recommend that they put in their wallet, first day of college with them.
I remember when I went to college, and I'm dating myself. This was like close to 30 years ago, but I remember that one of the things that my parents told me is, as a senior in high school, it was important to build credit rating and to build credit. And so I was able to find, as soon as I was a freshman in college, I was able to find a credit card that would actually give me, I think it was something ridiculous, like $600 or $800 limit, which, today is nothing. But, when you're 18, you're like, wow, $600 to $800 is cool. And of course, I immediately forgot to make my first payment, so that didn't help. But I remember how important it was to get that first credit card that was actually a credit card to begin building credit. Can you talk about how important that is for these young college students to begin doing that for their future?
Sure, absolutely. You're correct, Ken. It seems like in today's world, everything is based on that credit score.
Yeah.
Like when you're applying for automobile insurance homeowners insurance. Even when you're applying for a loan with the credit union, if you have a favorable credit score, we're going to give you the best available rate. We do everything, all of our pricing is based on that credit score. So it's very important to establish that early. When you want to buy a home, we have several tips in regards to getting those 5 credit references on your bureau so that you can become qualified for a government insured mortgage. So we kind of help people along the way with that throughout their lives. And we think, you know, college is about the appropriate time to start obtaining credit. So it's very important that you do it with a financial partner that you depend on, someone that you trust, someone that can give you advice and lead you down that road to home ownership. And even some jobs today are based, your credit score very much goes into effect. You know, we have members that contact us all the time that say, hey, I'm, you know, getting a background investigation. Can you tell me what my last credit score looked like? So there's so many things that are dependent on that. In today's society, it's extremely important. That's probably one of the number one things me being a lender would preach to today's youth.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was going to lead into that, but you already touched on it, which was perfect. Is that, you know, your whole point of going to college is to build your career, to have a good job, and many employers, you know, especially in the financial industry and in the law enforcement community, that's one of the first things that they look at when you apply for a job is that credit score. Because if it's low, you know, there's a concern there that you're not necessarily going to be above board, or simply be so worried about your finances that you're not concentrating on the job.
Credit score affects it so much more than just credit. It's, you know, like Tiffany touched on, your insurance premiums and all the other things that fall into those categories. And once you become a young adult, that credit score starts building, and every bit of it matters.
Yeah, exactly. Including, you know, even if you don't have a credit card, you think you might be doing a smart thing, but having no credit score is an issue as well. So yeah, the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha is there for you on that one. Now that we've probably scared anybody that's 17, 18 years old going into college of that they have to concentrate 24/7 on your credit score. One of the purposes of not only this Q&A, but how your credit union helps students going into college is so that you can handle some things so that they can concentrate on the number one thing, which is getting a quality educations. How do you make things easier for college students to manage their finances?
You know, we have all the products online. We have always on duty banking, which will allow them to either log on to their account on Cuffs through the computer, or they can use their mobile app. We have the mobile deposit capture. So if they receive a check that needs to be deposited, they can do that electronically. We also have Popmoney, which is a personal payment service, allows them to send and receive money via email or text. We have online bill pay if they have something that isn't automatic and they need to go that route. Again, you know, because we have shared branching and have those locations nationwide, it also means that we have ATMs nationwide for them to, you know, be able to retrieve cash whenever they need it. On the budgeting side, we have Blue Money Management, which allows them to pull all their accounts and all their information into one place. So it's an easy way for them to look at everything in a snapshot and know exactly where they stand on their finances. You know, they can pull their credit card information and all their account savings, checking accounts into that. We even offer, you know, overdraft protection as well, so that if they do make a mistake in that checking account, you know, we understand that in today's environment, most people don't keep a check register anymore. That's old school, because you can check things electronically at any time. So they keep kind of a running balance in their head. And sometimes we forget something. So that overdraft protection also comes in handy. And Tiffany can always elaborate on that a little more.
That's another thing that we suggest that they go to college with is the overdraft account.
Yeah.
You know, so that they do make an error, it automatically kicks in. There's no actually per transaction fee. And so basically it'll kick in advance that amount of money that maybe you were short. Or if you go to the ATM and say you need $20, your balance is $10, it will allow you to advance that additional $10 so that you can take funds out if you maybe don't have them in your account. It's a very simple monthly repayment. We have a lot of people that also repay it like on paydays or when they get paid, or when mom or dad deposits some money for them if they're college students. But yeah, we certainly recommend the overdraft in addition to the Visa credit card right at the time you're going to college. The other thing that Mary, that we didn't really talk about very much is our electronic signature option.
Mhm.
Like all these college students, we really don't need to come into the credit union. We have really been on the e-signature for a couple of years here. So when the pandemic hit, it really wasn't anything, it was business as usual for us because we have been capable. Pretty much any form that you can do in the credit union, we can do versus e-sign. So that's another way that we service our college students when they're all over the country is the e-signature option is just like they were here at the credit union.
Yeah, that's great tips, and especially if you only have $10 in your checking account. Beer's expensive now, and if you
I
need
know.
if you need if you need 2 cases of beer for that party instead of just 1 case, you don't want to be left hanging. So definitely the overdraft protection is where it's at. Um, as we close up here, is there maybe either one number one tip for your members that are going to college, or maybe one number one mistake that you see that you want to have your college students avoid before they head off to the university?
I would say avoid, I would say the number one mistake we would want our college students to avoid is not being a partner with Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha before they go.
Well said. Mary, do you have a number one tip? Or does that say it all?
It really does. When sometimes when something difficult happens and people can be embarrassed to call, whenever you have a question on your account, or if you think there's a mistake, or if you've made a mistake, give us a call, because 9 times out of 10 we can work it out and figure it out and make it much easier for you than trying to avoid or ignore the situation.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I stress this through all the credit unions I have the privilege of working with, is that a lot of our folks today, whether they're in their 20s or late teens, are looking to work with local businesses. They're looking to work with the small guy, and they're looking for a place that has social responsibility and is going to look out for their best interests more so than some of these very large names out there, which I won't mention. You find that at a credit union. And you find that at Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha. So if you're already a member, don't let that go, and use it to your advantage. Pick up the phone. I understand that the cell phones that we have actually do make calls, other than just having apps and games and other cool stuff. Or send an email if you don't want to actually talk. They're there for you, and they'll shoot you straight. Speaking of shooting straight, what is the best way, if anybody that's about to go to college does have a question, does want to set any of these products that we talked about up, how best can they get a hold of all of your experts?
Depending on which department they want, of course, our main number, 402-391-4040. We also have an 800 number, if they're out of state. Again, they have cell phones, they don't need it. Or email. We have the msr@opfcu.com as a general email. They can shoot the question into that, and we will forward it to the correct person and get an answer to them as quickly as possible.
Perfect.
We
Well,
do have an option too, Ken, that we can convert email to text. So, if they're really not checking their email and they prefer the text messaging, we do have an option that we can convert an email to text for delivery for them if that's their preferred method of communication too.
yeah, that's a great tip that you could easily text. And I know probably even at 3 a.m. Eastern time or Central time, somebody will be answering them, right, Mary?
It's been known to happen, actually.
See, see, that's what happens when you work with a small business. You
Yes.
actually get a response at 3 a.m. in the morning sometimes.
It's
Well,
funny you say that because I had that happen once and I happened to be up and responded and the person's like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean for you to, I was up, so not a big deal.
well, see, I probably would have said, yeah, thanks for waking me up at 3 a.m. in the morning, but you two are much more member service friendly than I am. But Mary, Tiffany, thank you for sharing the expertise, and thank you to all of you that have watched this recording, talking about college prep through Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha. And definitely reach out to these folks with any questions that you might have to help you with that endeavor. Thank you and take care. Thank you for watching the Blue Family News Q&A series brought to you by the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha. To learn more about Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, go to opfcu.net.